5 key takeaways from England's squad to face Wales following England's announcement of their 23-man squad to open their 2026 Six Nations campaign against Wales. Steve Borthwick's selection has sparked plenty of debate. With a mix of bold calls, emotional context, and long-term planning evident throughout the team sheet, there's far more going on here than a simple tournament opener. From Maro Itoje's surprise omission from the starting 15 to a reunited Northampton midfield and a long-awaited Six Nations breakthrough for Alex Coles. Here are the 5 key takeaways from England's selection. 1. Big changes signal intent. Not Panic England have named a starting 15 that features 7 changes from their Autumn Nations Series victory over Argentina just over 9 weeks ago. But this is not a selection born of uncertainty. Instead, it reflects Borthwick's growing confidence in the depth and adaptability of his squad. There are 4 changes in the backs, the most eye-catching being the return of Tommy Freeman and Fraser Dingwall as the midfield pairing. The Northampton Saints duo started together in the November opener against Australia, before Freeman was shifted back to the wing and later sidelined by injury. Borthwick reverted to Henry Slade and Max Ojimo against Argentina, but now returns to a combination that offers pace, power, and subtlety in equal measure on the wing. Henry Arundell earns his first test start since the 2023 Rugby World Cup, taking over from Elliot Daly on the left. Arundell impressed off the bench against Fiji in November, and his inclusion hints at a more expansive attacking outlook against a Wales side still finding its defensive identity. A T scrum half. Alex Mitchell predictably replaces Ben Spencer, restoring a halfback partnership with George Ford that England trusts to manage territory and tempo effectively. The 3 retained backs, Freddie Stewart, Emmanuel Feweboso, and Ford, provide continuity and leadership in a backline otherwise refreshed. For the challenge ahead, in the forwards. Joe Hayes returns at tight head following Asher Opokafor-Djur's injury, while the most talked about changes come in the engine room and at hooker. Jamie George reclaims the number 2 jersey and captains the side, while Maro Itoje is named among the replacements, a decision few saw coming that England's retained forwards, Ellis Genge, Alex Coles, Guy Pepper, Sam Underhill, and Ben Earl, underlined Borthwick's preference for work rate, physicality, and breakdown intensity, particularly against a Welsh pack that has struggled for consistency. 2. Itoje on the bench is about humanity and strategy. Seeing Maro Itoje listed among the substitutes for Six Nations opener was always going to raise eyebrows. Yet when placed in context, the decision becomes not only understandable, but arguably prudent. Itoje has endured a deeply difficult period following the recent passing of his mother. He missed England's Six Nations media launch in Edinburgh and arrived late to the warm weather training camp in Girona. Expecting him to shoulder the full burden of captaincy from the outset would have been a heavy ask. Borthwick's call to deploy Itoje in a so-called Palm Squad role allows the lock to ease into the tournament without the immediate pressure of leading from the front. Jamie George captains the side, offering calm authority and experience, while Ollie Chesham steps up in the second row. There's also a clear strategic layer to this move. With the Six Nations schedule condensed and England playing 3 successive weekends, managing Itoje's workload becomes critical. Traditionally an 80-minute player, keeping him fresh for the away trips to Scotland and the clash with Ireland at Twickenham could prove decisive. Crucially, this selection reflects a broader truth about this England side. They no longer live or die by Maro Itoje's presence. That was reinforced last week when Mike Tyndall omitted Itoje from his list of England's 10 most valuable players for the championship, describing it as a positive sign of squad evolution. That Saturday's encounter with Wales will be a significant test of that theory. 3. The Dingwall-Freeman axis is a warning shot. England's midfield has been one of the most heavily scrutinized areas of Borthwick's tenure. Over the past year alone, he has deployed 7 different center combinations, searching for the right balance between creativity and control. The arrival of Lee Blackett as a permanent member of the coaching staff has brought clarity to that process. Blackett's attacking influence was evident during England's summer tour of the Americas, and Borthwick moved quickly to secure his services full-time from Bath. The decision to reunite Dingwall and Freeman in the centers feels deliberate and pointed. It was this partnership that helped dismantle Wales in Cardiff 11 months ago, when England ran in 10 tries in a historic rout. Freeman was forced off injured midway through that match, but the attacking platform had already been laid. While the combination didn't ignite against Australia in November, circumstances have changed. Freeman has returned to top form at club level, scoring 5 tries at outside center against Bath, Harlequins, and Bordeaux. His ability to break lines and finish chances has become increasingly refined. Dingwall, meanwhile, remains one of England's most intelligent distributors and defensive organizers. And let's not forget, he scored the decisive try in last year's Six Nations victory over Wales. This pairing sends a clear message. England intend to test Wales down the middle, not just out wide. Alex Coles has earned his moment. Few selections feel as satisfying or as deserved as Alex Coles' first Six Nations start. Once seen as a reliable training ground option rather than a test match regular, Coles' career trajectory has quietly but decisively changed. After limited opportunities under Borthwick early on, his breakthrough came during last year's tour of Argentina, where he started twice against the Pumas and again versus the USA. November further cemented his rise. Despite playing just 8 minutes against Australia, Coles started and completed the full 80 in England's next 3 matches, a clear signal of trust from the coaching staff at T club level. Coles has flourished since the departure of David Ribands to France, becoming a cornerstone of Northampton's pack. His work rate, line-out reliability, and ability to link play have made him the kind of glue player coaches value immensely. With a back 5 now settled and functioning effectively, Coles' inclusion alongside Chesham feels like the natural next step rather than a gamble. This is a player who has paid his dues and now gets his reward at 5. Arundell's opportunity could define his England career. England's back 3 of Freddie Stewart, Emmanuel Fewa-Boso, and Henry Arundell is one to savor. Stewart's aerial dominance and improved running lines are well established. Fewa-Boso continues to grow as a devastating strike weapon on the right. But it is Arundell's return to the starting 15 that adds real intrigue. Few players in World Rugby boast Arundell's try-scoring pedigree. He announced himself with a score on debut in Australia at 19 and famously crossed 5 times in a single World Cup match against Chile. Yet circumstances, including the collapse of London Irish and a 2-year stint at Racing 92, stalled his England career. Now back in the Premiership with Bath, Arundell has hit the ground running, scoring 8 tries and 12 starts across domestic and European competition. Borthwick resisted the temptation to rush him back in November, instead offering a brief but impactful cameo against Fiji. With Wales' defense still bedding in under new head coach Steve Tandy, this feels like the right moment to unleash Arundell from the start. At 23, he now has the chance to prove he is more than an occasional luxury, and instead a long-term test regular. If England can get him early ball, Twickenham could be in for something special. Final word, this England selection is not without risk, but it is full of intent. It balances compassion with competitiveness, rotation with continuity, and short-term results with long-term planning. Borthwick may not say it publicly, but this team sheet suggests a coach who trusts his squad, understands a moment, and is prepared to make bold calls. Saturday against Wales will tell us just how far this England side has truly come.